Yo guys, what's going on? LifeOfRio here, and I'm bringing you guys my Harrow build. Sorry it took so long, but I had to do proper testing, basically to give you guys a good explanation on how I like to use him and actually finding out how he fits in certain situations. So I didn't want to rush that out to you guys without giving you guys a great breakdown. Now in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys a build and just a general concept on how I like to use him, things that I figured out with him as far as how range affects him, and also how he holds up in solo play, team play, and in survival. But overall, I think Harrow is a very good frame. I think his design, now I will add this to it, Harrow adds to the batch of Warframes that we have, as in having skill play to where it's just not pressing one button, and I will put him in range of like frames like Nidus as far as, you know, synergy between his moves and using everything all in conjunction to work well with each other. And I think that's really amazing. I think the design team and just the concept behind how his move synergizes was just a fantastic way of bringing Harrow to life for people who actually don't like one button press frames. So I think that's a really great idea. Also, I've been seeing DE actually continue with this trend, and I'm starting to like it. A lot of the moves now are synergizing a lot better, and I think as far as developers, they're actually learning on how to actually congest those moves and keeping everything working fluently instead of just one button. Now we just want them to go back and work on the other frames that actually don't have that synergy between their moves. But as far in the comment section, let me know how you guys are liking Harrow. Let me know how you guys are building him. Are you guys' build similar to mine? And I'm actually going to show you guys 3 different individual builds. I'm going to show you guys a solo build, all around balance build, and just a team play build on how I like to use him. Now, most of these, from what I've tested versus like Corpus and things like that, Grenier, it kind of switches up. So I'll actually try to remember to, you know, explain that as well. So let's go ahead and jump into it now. With Harrow's first ability, it's actually a really good ability. It's really great. It's one of those abilities that you're going to consistently keep using, and it actually has travel time. The travel time is really important. It actually goes through walls as well. So on this one, for my build, I didn't go too much range, especially if I'm doing solo play. You do not want too much range, because if you're doing even team play, if you have too much range on, what it's going to do is that it's going to lock down enemies way outside of your killing radius to where it slows down your KPS, which is your kills per second. Another thing that I think is really important for Harrow is your Sentinel using the Guardian mod. And the Guardian mod is amazing with his second ability, which is Penance. Once you take away all your shields, it refills it and instantly give you your shields back to where you can stack your second ability. But remember, there's a 30-second cooldown, so just remember not to spam the ability. And then if you actually work it in conjunction well, your Sentinel can keep stacking up your survivability. So I love that, I honestly do. And also with a Roctor Kubero, that actually worked great as well. So there's great synergy between his moves, which you have to use all of them in conjunction with each other, and also with his Sentinel and his pets, man. So I think that's a really amazing way on how to use him. That's really solid. Now this is his third ability without natural talent, and this is it with natural talent. Now natural talent is a plus on this frame for me, and I actually love it. Sometimes I find it very difficult to actually not have natural talent on, because it builds up the energy so much faster, and it's just a quick way to get back into combat without actually waiting and stalling, you know what I mean? Now this is his fourth ability. The fourth ability, this is the countdown of the damage prevention. This is where you're going to be absorbing all your damage. This is where you can create all the mistakes you want to make, but make sure you absorb as much damage as possible, because after the countdown goes away, you actually can take a lot of damage, and Harrow is actually easy to die. So actually after that countdown goes away, as you guys can see in the circle, what's going to happen is now from all the damage that you've taken, you're now going to actually dish all that damage back out. And he gets and he tells you the buff that you got. The max that you can get up to is up to plus 50%, and it's amazing. Weapons that cannot even crit are actually going to be critting. So overall, he is doing tremendous damage. I think his fourth ability is just by far an amazing one, and I'm going to be doing a long run for Harrow to add to some team synergy. As far as doing solo play, I think he's actually pretty good. He takes a lot of skills and actually watching your surroundings. The 150 base armor that they actually gave him, he is still super squishy, because once that invincibility period goes away, you have to survive for at least 25 to 27 seconds to make sure that you don't die while you have that weapon buff. Now, this is my first build form. This is my solo build with Harrow. This is a 4 form of build, guys. As you can tell, this one has minus range. And this is my main build that I use because as far as using his first ability, I don't want it to lock down enemies outside of the area of where I'm trying to be, just so I don't lose out on life support. I have a nice amount of damage and a lot of duration. I went with base efficiency. I don't like having negative efficiency too much on him, and I found that out. This is my team play build as well. I found out that I don't like too much negative efficiency. Even though he gets his energy back through killing and on headshots with his third ability, you find out that that actually doesn't stay as consistent as you would think versus Grineer. Grineer completely wipes that away. So I had to go with a team synergized build versus Grineer. I really do hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for the amazing love and support. Please give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and keep supporting the channel if you guys do. Please keep supporting just for me to keep these videos coming. And much love to you guys. I will be coming with a Harrow endgame build, and I just had to test it out. So versus Corpus, he is actually really good. Versus Corpus, you can go with a negative duration build, with a negative efficiency build. And versus Grineer, I have to go base efficiency. Base efficiency is a must for me versus Grineer because they completely just wreck the entire thing. They drain so fast. There's so many Eximuses out there that's draining all of my energy. And actually versus Corpus is actually pretty tough as well. But versus the Void isn't really too difficult. He handles the Void very well. As far as team play, he is an amazing team play synergized frame. If you like Harrow, please let me know in the comment section. How are you building and how are you liking him? Weapons that I like using with him the most is definitely the Tord. The Tord is automatically amazing with him because of the reload speed. The second ability gives you the reload buff that you actually need for Harrow. And so once you do that, what I basically do with Harrow is that I use my first ability. Well, great little tips. I use my first ability depending on the level that you're at with the enemies. If you're doing high level content, I use my first ability, then go into my fourth ability, and then while I'm in my fourth ability, use my second ability, and then actually keep that entire thing going. Natural Talent actually helps me a lot as well because you're a sitting duck while you're using your third ability unless you're jumping around. So Natural Talent helps the energy build up a lot faster and a lot more efficiently with Harrow. So that helps out so much. So as far as doing survivals, too much range is what I figured out. He really slows down life support big time, especially if you're spamming your one in a hallway. The enemies can't get in there because he's locking it down, especially with multiple Harrows because the chains actually go through wall. And since it has travel time, enemies run into it and completely gets locked down. The wave gets kind of bigger as it goes out, so that's a really great thing as well. But other than that, I think Harrow is very solid. I think there's no flaws to him currently at the moment. I know that some people were complaining about, the time of him having a cap of 60 seconds, but I think it's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. The fact that you can stack his second is also amazing. As far as right now, I would definitely say his second ability is my favorite. His second and the fourth is definitely my favorite. Those are my go-to. But since when you're using him, you need to have all four, so you're definitely going to be using him with all four abilities. The balance build is also very great as well. That one helps out a lot. So if you guys are doing long run, I've done a long run with him already. I'm going to be doing some more just to see how it goes together. I'm going to be doing some comps, some over-the-top comps with him and Banshee just to see how that whole thing goes together. And as far as weapons, you already know whip weapons with him. With stacking the fourth ability with his fourth ability and his second ability active, the Zenny Star with him doing red crits. Come on now, like what are we talking about? Every one of those weapons, he just makes weapons great. So I really do hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, I really do hope that you guys like the way that I did it, and let me know how you're building your Harrow. As always, guys, much love and thank you guys for everything.